Welcome to Embodia's all-in-one practice management system. In this video, we're going to walk through everything you need to get set up and started. Embodia is designed to be customizable and flexible, so you can set up your accounts to meet your needs. There are far more features available on Embodia than what we will show today. However, in this onboarding video, we will get you off to a great start with setting up your account. Follow along and pause the video so that you can complete the steps alongside us. When you sign into your account, you will be brought to the main dashboard. In the top right corner, we can see that we're connected to our demo clinic. If you don't see your clinic name here, go to Settings and under My Account, select My Settings. Under Default Clinic, select your clinic name, or if you have multiple clinics, select which one you want to be connected to by default when you sign in. You can also spend some time on this page selecting the various settings you would like on your account. Then click Update My Settings at the bottom of the page. Let's start with the onboarding checklist, which can be found under Settings, My Clinic, Onboarding Checklist. Here you'll find a checklist to complete. You can click on each item and be taken to the page where you can complete this step. A tutorial video on the onboarding checklist is also available in our guides. The first few items on the list are all related to your contact info and branding. You can also get to this page by going to Settings, Communication and Branding, Contact Info and Branding. Here you will fill in your email address, phone number, and website. This information will be displayed on your online booking portal if you choose to use online booking, the footer of the emails patients receive, as well as on your receipts and printed material. Navigate to the next tab to add your address. Add your clinic address so patients know where to go for their visits. If you see patients at multiple locations, please reach out to our support team, and we will enable the multi-location feature for you at no additional cost. The next tab allows you to add your branding. Your branding will be displayed on your online booking page, as well as in the emails sent to your patients. You can always come back and change your logo and brand colors later. Under email communication, enter your reply to email address, your email from name, and your email signature. This way, the automated emails sent out, such as consult reminders, will look like they are coming from you or your clinic. If one of your patients responds to an automated email, their reply will be delivered to the email address added in the Reply to Email Address section. Finally, if you have additional information that you want included on patient invoices, such as your business tax number or corporation number, enter it in the Billing Info tab. Next, we are going to set up our patient properties by going to Settings, My Clinic, Patient Properties. Patient properties are used to collect important information that doesn't change frequently, such as the patient's phone number, physician's name or address, and referral source. You will see some default patient properties already set up for you. Click on Add a Property. Enter the name of the patient property and select the property type from the drop-down menu. You can select from these types. You can also choose where you want to display these patient properties, such as showing them on patient invoices or chart entries. We will see patient properties in action several times throughout this video, so don't worry if you haven't fully grasped the benefits and usefulness of them just yet. Next, let's set up a consent form by going to Consults, Settings. There are several places where you will see the option to set up content for either your personal account or the clinic account. If you are setting up content that should be used broadly in the clinic, select the For the Clinic Account option so that the content is available to everyone in your clinic. Click on Add a New Consent Form. Provide a name for your consent form. This will be only used internally and won't be visible to the patient. Type or copy and paste the content of your consent form in the text box, or click on this link to get a list of sample consent forms that you can use as a starting point. By default, your patients will provide consent by simply clicking a button. Here's what it will look like to your patients when they receive a consent form. If you would like to collect a digital signature for consent, you can check the appropriate checkboxes to ask the client to type their name or ask the client to sign the consent form using their mouse or their finger. If you have asked for a name and/or signature, the client will be asked to fill those out when accepting the consent form. Here's what your patients will see when they receive this kind of consent form. When you have completed your consent form, click Show this form in the list of available consent forms. Then click Submit. If you want additional flexibility for your consent form, or if you have multiple consent forms that should go out with any one of your services, you can set up any additional consent forms using the Questionnaires feature. You can use questionnaires to create outcome measures, intake forms, consent forms, screening forms, satisfaction surveys, diaries, and more. To set up your questionnaires, go to HEP Questionnaires. You can either create a questionnaire from scratch or click Browse Available Templates to select a pre-built template and then click Create a Questionnaire from this template. You will then be able to edit the template as you see fit. You can also include scoring on questionnaires, and if scoring is included, you will be shown change over time when the questionnaire is filled out more than once. Here's what it will look like when a patient has completed a questionnaire with scoring multiple times. Let's also create a questionnaire from scratch. Remember when we set up patient properties earlier in this video? One place they can be used is on your questionnaires by clicking on Connect Patient Property. This way, when a patient completes this question, the patient property can be used elsewhere, such as displaying it on the patient's chart or invoice. You can add as many questions as you like to a questionnaire. Next, let's set up our email customizations by going to Consults, Settings, Email Customizations. Here you can customize the emails that are sent to patients before and after the consult. If you do not customize any emails, the patient will still receive the default automated emails. Since we already set up our branding and contact information earlier in this video, it will automatically be displayed for us on all of our email customizations. When you add a new email customization, you will be taken to a page where you can edit your email customizations. This page is split into two, the editing pane on the left-hand side and the preview pane on the right-hand side. In the editing pane, you can give your email customization a name and specify the language as well as the identifier, which is how to refer to the scheduled meeting. By default, the word consult is used. You can change this to a different identifier such as appointment. You can add a custom section to your email customization with information you would like to communicate to your patient regarding the consult, such as parking information or what to bring to their appointment. When you make any edits, the preview pane will update to reflect the edits. Please note that the preview will include placeholder data, such as a random patient name and a random scheduled time. When an actual email is sent to a patient, the duration and start time, as well as the practitioner and patient names, will be updated based on the scheduled consult. You don't need to make edits for every single email from the Select an Email drop-down menu. Any edits you make will be applied to all of the appropriate emails. If you cannot see your custom section in the email preview, please make sure that you are previewing a fitting email. For example, a custom section will not appear in the email sent to a patient when a consult is canceled, as it would not be relevant. When you're all done, click Save Customization. You can also choose to customize the emails sent after the consult. Additionally, if you would like to edit any other automatic emails that are not related to consults, you can do so by going to Settings, Communication and Branding, Email Templates. Here you'll see email templates for all other automated emails, such as your welcome email for new patients, invoice and receipt emails. Click on the eye icon to preview the email and click on the edit icon to make edits to the email. Now, let's set up the consult settings. Go to Consult Settings, then Consult Settings. You will see a default consult setting already pre-made for your clinic. Anything you create under your personal account will only be available to you, while anything created under your clinic account will be available to all practitioners in your clinic. Consult settings serve several important purposes that you can choose to take advantage of, including sending one or more automated questionnaires ahead of or after a consult, determining if patients can cancel or reschedule their own consults, determining if and when a consult reminder email is sent to patients, if you allow patients to cancel or reschedule themselves, whether other practitioners in your clinic, aside from the treating practitioner, should be notified, determining whether patients receive the 2 and 24-hour appointment email reminders, if you have SMS reminders set up, determining whether patients receive the 2 and 24-hour appointment email reminders, and sending a payment request to patients when a consult is scheduled to allow patients to add their payment information securely. Click Add Setting and give your setting a name. This is for internal use only. Then choose whether patients can cancel or reschedule their consult themselves. Your patients receive automated reminders of their consult 2 and 24 hours before their appointment time, as well as when the consult is booked, modified, or canceled. If you would like to omit any of those emails, you can check the appropriate checkbox. You can also specify a custom number of hours before the consult to send email reminders to your patients. By default, Embodia uses email to send your patients information and notifications about their accounts and upcoming consults. If you also want to send text message notifications to your patients about their upcoming consults, you can check our guides for information on how to enable the SMS feature on your account. If you have enabled SMS notifications, you can use Consult Settings to determine if your patients will receive text reminders 2, 24, or a specific number of hours before the consult. Once you've created your consult settings, click on the consult setting name to view and edit any of the selections you have just made. In the second tab, Questionnaires, you can add the questionnaires you would like to be part of this consult setting by clicking Add a Questionnaire. You can select when the questionnaire should be shared with a patient, such as when the consult is scheduled or a certain number of hours before or after the consult. You can also select the fill frequency, such as having the patient complete this questionnaire for every consult or skip if the patient completed this questionnaire within a certain time frame, such as 1 year. Now, let's add our payment methods by going to Billing Settings. You can set up as many payment methods as you want. You can choose to accept credit card payments with Stripe, an online payment processor with which Embodia is integrated. If you charge taxes on your services, you can set up your tax rates by clicking on Tax Rates in the sidebar. I will go through an overview of the online booking features by going to Settings, Scheduling Settings, Online Booking. You will first need to set up your subdomain. Next, you can customize your online booking settings. You can choose who can book online. If you allow new patients to book online, the patient must first create an account to finalize the booking. By default, they will be asked for their email address, first name, and last name. If you want the patient to provide more information, you can make use of your patient properties. There are a variety of settings with instructions on this page. Take your time to go through each, and for detailed instructions, please refer to our online booking guides. A few more features we will point out in this video are the option to turn on booking requests. A booking request is a simple contact form that the patient can complete to request booking an appointment. To enable booking requests, check the checkbox below and provide at least one email address to notify. You can also choose to collect credit card payment or information on booking in this section. Here's an example of what an online booking page can look like. Your logo and branding will be displayed on the page. The buttons that appear depend on what you are offering in online booking, such as appointments, products, classes, packages, memberships, or even courses if you are using the optional Clinic Academy add-on. As we can see here, patients can schedule appointments based on the services you've enabled in online booking. If a patient can't find what they're looking for, they could submit a booking request if you're using that feature. A second important step to use online booking is adding your availability. To set your schedule availability, click on Consults, My Schedule, My Availabilities. To add to your schedule, click on Add to My Schedule and fill out the form. Next, let's have a look at setting up your services by going to My Clinic, Scheduling Settings. Services are grouped by category, for example, pelvic health, physiotherapy, or massage therapy. First, create your categories. Then click Add a Service to start adding services to your categories. Give your service a name and select the consult type of phone call, virtual, or in person. Provide a brief description of this service. This description will be displayed in online booking. Add the duration or length of the service. If you would like a break following this service, add an amount of time in the reset time. This will automatically block your schedule when this service is booked. Select the price for this service. You can add taxes if needed. For every service you add, you can choose to attach a consent form, a consult email, and a consult setting. Select a color for this service. This is for your and your team's visual display in your calendar. If you have online booking enabled, check this box if you want this service to be available in online booking. You will be presented with a variety of online booking settings options for this specific service. Now let's head to Statuses by clicking on Statuses in the sidebar. Statuses can be used to track the status of a patient in a consult, such as arrived, no-show, etc., and can automatically generate invoices based on your preference. Click on Add a Status and enter the name of the status. Check the checkbox beside Generates Invoice if you would like this status to automatically generate a draft invoice and specify the amount of the invoice. You can specify a percentage of the selected service or a flat amount. Specify if the consult should be canceled automatically if this status is selected. Choose a color and a color behavior. The color will be used in the calendar view to differentiate the statuses from one another visually. Now we will learn about clinical cases, which are templates for a collection of consults, also known as an episode of care. Using clinical cases has the following advantages. Clinical cases provide better organization for patients' consults, especially if they are seeing a practitioner for multiple treatments. Using clinical cases improves reporting and analytics. You can discharge a patient from one clinical case, but keep another one ongoing. Using clinical cases makes it easier for patients to book follow-up appointments with just a few clicks. This can be done even if you have disabled online booking on your account. You can specify a default payment method in a clinical case. This way, a draft payment will automatically be created on invoices for consults that are part of this clinical case, saving you a few clicks. Draft payments will also automatically be created if you specify a patient policy on a clinical case. You can set up templates for your clinical cases by going to Clinical Case Templates. You can add categories, and each category can have as many templates as you'd like. When we create a new template, we'll give it a name and description and assign an assessment service and follow-up service. There are two places where we can assign a clinical case to patients. The first is by going to their patient profile under My Patients, and then to their Consults tab and Clinical Cases. Click Start a New Case and choose to start the case from a template or from scratch. Let's select the template we just set up. Now we can adjust any of the information to personalize this case for the patient. We may want to change the name, assessment, or follow-up services. And we can indicate if this patient is paying something different from our standard appointment fees. This way, when we use the clinical case, the invoice will reflect the price the patient is paying, and we or our admin staff won't need to manually change it. We can also set various other settings if they apply to this patient's clinical case. The second place that we can set up and use a clinical case with patients is from the calendar view. Let's head to the calendar and learn how to schedule a patient's appointment. First, let's add a new patient and fill in their information. Click on the calendar to schedule an appointment. This will pull up a page where we are offered the option to schedule a new consult, schedule a one-off break or a recurring break, and if you have the waitlist feature enabled, you can search your waitlist. You can schedule patients from your services or from a clinical case. Let's schedule this patient under a new clinical case. Again, we can choose to create a clinical case from scratch or from a template. Then we can personalize the clinical case for this patient as we saw previously. When we click Submit, the appointment will be scheduled and your patient will receive all of the relevant information for their appointment, including appointment reminders via email or SMS, consent forms, and questionnaires such as intake forms and outcome measures. By clicking on the appointment, we are shown a brief summary of the appointment, and we can navigate to the various tabs and quick links for more information. We can manually create a patient invoice by going to the Invoice tab, or we can use the Status feature to automatically generate an invoice. For example, when this patient arrives for their appointment, we will mark them as arrived, and this automatically generates an invoice. When an invoice is generated, it will be a draft. This gives you the opportunity to finalize and select how it will be paid for. On the invoice page, you will see your logo at the top, your clinic information on the right, and the patient information on the left. If you want to have additional information displayed on the invoice, you can do so by making use of your patient properties. If you are a Canadian clinician, you can choose to use a number of direct insurance billing features Embodia offers at no additional charge. For U.S. clinicians, you can choose to use the Superbills feature for quick and easy superbill generation. The invoice will display the service that was provided. If you need to adjust the information displayed, you can do so by clicking on the Edit icon.
Yeah.
If needed, you can add line items such as another consult or a product.
Maybe.
Click the Add a Payment button to add a payment method. If you have a payment method that is connected to a Stripe account, you can collect a credit card payment quickly and easily. This includes the option to add a credit card or select a credit card if the patient already has one on file. If you want the patient to complete the payment from the Secure Patient Portal, you can select the credit card payment method and send the invoice to the patient. Let's finalize the payment together by adding the patient's credit card information. Now we can see that the invoice has been paid in full, and we can send the receipt to the patient. A banner with the date and time the receipt was sent will be displayed, and the receipt will be available to the patient in their portal. You can go to a patient's charts from the calendar booking by clicking on the Go To dropdown and Charting. Here, we can see existing charts and can start a new chart. Before we start a new chart together, let's look at an existing chart. On Embodia, charts are made up of chart items, which are the basic building blocks of a chart. Each patient chart consists of one or more chart items. To create a chart item, navigate to Charting and Charting Settings. You can create chart items for your personal account, or if you are the clinic manager, you can create chart items that are available to everyone in the clinic. Embodia provides pre-built chart items for you to use, and you can also create your own. Let's create a new chart item. You can now build your chart item with instructions and questions. An instruction is a static piece of text used to provide instructions, while a question is a fillable item when completing a patient chart. There's a wide range of question types to choose from. We outline each question type in our guides. If you frequently use the same collection of chart items in your patient charts, you can group them together as a template. Embodia comes preloaded with numerous templates that group popular chart items into chart templates for you to edit and use. Similar to chart items, you can use our pre-built templates or you can build your own. Let's build a template together from scratch. Click on Templates in the sidebar, and then on New Template, and give it a name. Next, we will add chart items to the template. We can use the 3 horizontal lines to reorder the chart items, and we can preview the template by clicking on the Preview button. When you press back, you will see all the available templates you have created, including today's template. Now that we have the charting essentials ready, let's start our chart. We already saw how we can start a chart from a patient's booking in your calendar. Another way to start a chart is from My Patients, selecting a patient, and from the Charting tab, clicking on New Chart. Now let's start our chart. Give the chart a name if you'd like. You can choose to use a template for your chart. Let's use the template we set up today. You can also choose to make the chart visible to or hidden from the patient. When a chart is made visible to a patient, they will be able to see it from their secure portal. You can also control the visibility of individual chart notes, so even if you choose to make the chart visible to the patient, you can still hide individual chart items within the chart entry so that those items won't be visible to your patient. At the top of the chart, standard information is displayed, such as the date, patient name, and clinician name, as well as the ability to sign your chart. If you have selected for patient properties to be displayed in the chart, these will be displayed here. Following this, you will see your chart and can start to fill it in. Text boxes will have the option to see responses from other entries, which will pull up any responses to this chart question that you have completed for this patient. This way, you don't have to go scrolling through past charts. At the bottom of the chart, you can choose to add additional items, as well as perform various other functions. Finally, let's add a few snippets. Snippets are a time-saving feature that lets you automatically fill in long text by typing a few characters. There are 2 ways to add snippets. The first is right from your chart by highlighting any text you have written and pressing the Command, Shift, and S keys on your Mac keyboard or Control, Shift, and S keys on your PC keyboard to turn the text into a snippet. The other way to add a snippet is by going to Charting, Charting Settings, Snippets. Click on New Snippet And first, let's create a simple text snippet. These snippets are best suited for short, simple text. Enter a key, which is a short sequence of text that you will type in the chart, and then enter a value, which is the text you want to populate in the chart. Now let's create a rich text snippet. These snippets allow for more formatting, such as bolding text, bullet point lists, and tables. This snippet type gives you the option to fill in a lot of information quickly and prevent missed details. Snippets are private to each practitioner's account. To close out this video, we will briefly go through the patient experience. Patient accounts are created when you or your team add a patient or when the patient creates an account from your online booking portal. When a patient signs in, they are brought to their dashboard. Here, they will see anything assigned to them. For example, exercises, upcoming consults, and any questionnaires or diaries to be completed. In the sidebar, they will see different tabs they can navigate to, such as consults, to view all upcoming and past consults, questionnaires and diaries shared with them, all completed and active exercise programs, and their profile, where they can update their password and personal information and view any invoices and receipts from their practitioner. Thanks for watching. Below you will find all of the guides associated with everything we've talked about today. We look forward to seeing you for your complimentary one-on-one onboarding setup where we will answer any questions you may have, go through specific details for your account, and help optimize things to your practice's specific needs. You can also send your questions to support@embodiaapp.com. Let's get your practice moving.